Welcome to solverfy.
All right, so for problem 10, we're creating an algorithm to sort of raise one number to a power, right? So we can just call this the power algorithm. And our input is going to be x, which is any real number, and n, which is an integer. All right, so we have these two inputs. And so we think here, well, what would happen if n, and just to sort of put out what we're trying to return is x to the n. Okay, so if n were 0, no matter what x is, it's going to be equal to 1, right? So let's just let our output value, and let that be equal to k, set that equal to 1. And then we'll say, well, what if n isn't 0, right? So if n is not 0, which is probably going to be most of the time, okay, then for I, from 0 to, we're just going to ignore the case where n could be negative for now. So we'll say absolute value of n. Okay, so make it positive. We'll set k equal to k times x. Okay, so initially k is equal to 1, right? So for the first iteration, we're just going to get x back. But then since we're setting k to x, we're going to end up multiplying x by x. So we're really just multiplying x by itself n times, right? Which is exactly what's happening here. X to the n is the same as x times x times x n times. Okay, but what if there's also the case where n could be negative, right? So just in case n is less than 0, well, when n is negative, right, then x to the negative n is also just equal to 1 over x to the n. And we found x to the n, so all we really have to do is then take 1 and divide it by what we have. So we'll set k equal to 1 over itself, which is what we had previously found. And then we want to return our value, return k. So that'll give us x to the n, regardless of whether n is positive